By the way, if they don't follow my exact slavery laws, I will be making them eat their children. Hey folks, welcome to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel, and I read Bible so that you don't have to. And we are still trying to get through the slog that is Deuteronomy titties? I don't even know how to pronounce it, and I don't think anyone does, because it's this mysterious, apparently Greek word in the Hebrew scriptures that nobody actually knows what the original pronunciation was, and so everybody just guesses. And that's what happens actually with literally everything in the Bible. And by the way, stick around to the bitter end of this the very end of this chapter, because I'm going to tell you what I loved about the chapter and what I loathed. So you're not going to want to miss that. Deuteronomy chapter 28. It shall happen, if you shall listen diligently to Yahweh your God's voice, to observe to do all his commandments, which I command you today, that Yahweh, your God, will set you high above all the nations of the earth. We kind of get like mixed signals. The question is, why are the Hebrews the chosen people? Why are they so special? You can ask around to Christians and you'll get a variety of different answers. Well, we've already read in here, God didn't choose them because they were the largest nation. They were actually a pretty small nation, but he still chose them. Is it because they were better? Well, no, because they did a lot of the things the other nations do. They sacrificed things to other gods. We're even going to see where they sacrificed children, but they sacrificed and worshiped other gods at different times. They did sex crimes. They did a bunch of things that are not good. And then they did a bunch of things that are not good that he likes, like taking forced brides from the captives or having slaves, right? But they did the stuff that went against God's law. And so did the other nations. But God still said, these are my favorite people. And the Christians will say, well, isn't that amazing? God can still use these flawed people to bring about his master plan of killing his son for himself. But it's also him. But whatever the human sacrifice blood magic thing happened there. But now it seems to be saying that God will set you above all the nations if you shall listen diligently to Yahweh, your God's voice. So there's a condition here. Are they set above because they're going to follow those laws? If they don't, are they still going to be set high above all the nations of the earth? I think that this is a harder contradiction to drill down on because the messaging is kind of all over the Bible, and it's contradictory, and it happens at different times. So to really nail down what it says where and what the context of those sections is, and then how God treats the people and what the whole trajectory of their, existence and their relationship with God is, it's really difficult to nail that down. But I bet you if we did, we would find that stuff like this is contradictory. I'll just leave that with you. I'm not a scholar. I'm just somebody that wants to give you something to look into, especially if you're bored. All these blessings will come upon you and overtake you if you listen to Yahweh, your God's voice. You shall be blessed in the city, and you shall be blessed in the field. You shall be blessed in the fruit of your body, the fruit of your ground, the fruit of your animals, the increase of your livestock, and the young of your flock. Your basket and your kneading trough shall be blessed. You shall be blessed when you come in. You shall be blessed when you go out. Yahweh will cause your enemies who rise up against you to be struck before you. They will come out against you one way and will flee before you 7 ways. Yahweh will command the blessing on you in your barns and in all that you put your hand to. He will bless you in the land which Yahweh, your God, gives you. Yahweh will establish you for a holy people to himself, as he has sworn to you, if You shall keep the commandments of Yahweh your God and walk in his ways. This is pretty beautiful verbiage, I think. Like, you will be blessed as you come in, and you will be blessed when you go out. All the blessings will come upon you and overtake you. Like, it kind of feels like overwhelm you. Like, it'll be so much. You're going to be buried in blessings. I'm going to just pile them on, in like an overwhelming, sort of suffocating kind of way, if you will. But this reminds me of Leviticus 26, where we kind of got a lesser version of this, but it's actually the opposite. I wonder if the rest of this chapter is going to be the threats thing too. But in Leviticus 26, we get, hey, if you follow these laws, you'll get like the crops the way you expect to get crops. They're going to like happen the way they usually happen. That's what it basically says. And then it's like, if you don't, your eyeballs will shrivel out of their heads. I'll make you eat your kids. It's just like really violent. All these wild animals will come and destroy you. Your enemies are going to just like have their way with you, etc. So here we're kind of just getting like more beautiful words of blessing. He's kind of building this up a little bit more. I wonder if it's to set up the contrast of like what's really, really, really going to be good, like if you do follow the laws, and then versus, whoa, look out. But remember that this is conditional. God, it doesn't just randomly bless people and take care of people or do any of those things. You have to be living in his will. You have to be following his laws. It's conditional on what he tells you to do. By the way, let me just, as an aside, laws that Christians will now tell you were imperfect, right? Like the slavery laws, which we all agree are imperfect. Christians will go, oh yeah, that was just, he was just allowing it. Well, if you do the thing he's allowing you to do, which is own people as property, he will bless you so fully. He will fill your barns with all sorts of grain, and he will heap the blessings upon you. What? Okay, that seems, there's something feels off on that. All the peoples of the earth shall see that you are called by Yahweh's name, and they will be afraid of you. That's so interesting. That's always so interesting to me because, again, with Christians, they'll have this idea that like, and actually it even occurs early on where God says, I think to Abraham, I will bless you and make you kind of like a light unto all the other nations. Like you are going to affect the world in a super positive way. Your people will be like this incredible people for everyone. Christians say that too, like, this little light of mine, right? Be a light unto the earth. And I think maybe be salt. Be like salty for the world. And here it's just like everyone's going to know about you. They're all going to know that you're called by Yahweh's name. And that's going to freak them out because I'm a monster. Like I will kill everyone. I think I'm going to kill everyone. I killed all of you. Remember that? You guys don't remember. You're new. But there was like 2 million of you before, and I killed all of them. And now you're the new generation. You probably don't remember that, but your dad wouldn't have told you that, or your mom, because they're dead. That's classic Yahweh. Seems counterintuitive again, but I think there might be just like a different sort of like motivation for each particular book and chapter in Scripture, right? So the one in Genesis is kind of like making, we feel really good about ourselves. It's kind of like the beginning of this people, their origin story, that kind of thing. And then here it's like war god time. We're going to destroy stuff, and get vengeance. War god. Yahweh will grant you abundant prosperity in the fruit of your body. Ooh, that's hot. In the fruit of your livestock, not hot. And the fruit of your ground in the land which Yahweh swore to your fathers to give you. Yahweh will open to you his good treasure in the sky to give the rain of your land in its season and to bless all the work of your hand. You will lend to many nations, and you will not borrow. Yahweh will make you the head and not the tail. And you will be above. I'm just thinking that, like, no, I like head, but I also like tail in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, I like both, you know, and I'm not thinking about animals. I'm thinking about butts, but like human butts. And I'm just thinking, like, you know, why do we always have such a negative? Why are we being negative about the tail end? You will be above only, and you will not be beneath. I mean, it's nice to be on top and on bottom. If you listen to the commandments of Yahweh your God, which I command you today to observe and do, and shall not turn away from any of the words which I command you today, to the right hand or to the left, or go after other gods to serve them. Again, I want to point out that this is very much, and I say this a lot, but I want to like drive it home, that what is the reward here? The reward is many babies, many animals, because that's where the wealth comes from, and very good harvests, because that's how we survive. We eat that way, right? And so I will send you guys rain, like a lot of good rain. Like you guys will get like some of the finest goodly rain that like I'm going to send down from above, and that's going to get all your crops doing good. You know, this is just like, but like, I don't want to say they're dumb people. They're probably really smart for, you know, their time, but they're stuck in a time, right? They're like superstitious farmers who are like, how are we going to get all this stuff that we want? Let's follow the rules that this God has laid out. If this is created by like a priest class or like the leaders of a nation who are like, okay, what do our people want? Let's write in there what it is that they're going to want and say that they will get that if they just do X, Y, Z, right? And you see that today. This isn't exactly the prosperity gospel, does kind of like coincide with that a little bit, but you see it today in churches that are like, follow the rules and God will fill your bank account or help you pay your bills or whatever, right? They don't say follow the rules. They say tithe a lot. If you give a lot, you'll receive a lot. And in this case, it's like cash money that you'll get to help you pay your bills. But in Bible times, yeah, interestingly, it was, of course, their currency, which would have been agriculture. And it just shows that how human it is. But it shall come to pass, if you will not listen to Yahweh your God's voice. Okay, I just want to note right now that this is verse 15. Okay, so it took 15 verses to say all the nice things. So let's see what happens from verse 15 to verse 68. I haven't read this chapter, but like part of me thinks the rest might be violence. Just a guess, I might be way wrong. Maybe we'll see 2 verses about that, and then, like, you know, it'll go off on some laws. But let's see what happens. But it shall come to pass that if you will not listen to Yahweh your God's voice, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you today, that all these curses will come on you and overtake you. You will be cursed in the city, and you will be cursed in the field. And by the way, I would love to know what a curse is. Like, that's one thing that I wish would be defined in the Bible. Because, like, is a curse something that will indeed happen forever, right? Because Canaan was cursed. Canaan was cursed by Noah. So people can do curses, which is weird. The curse resulted in kind of the Nephilim being there. They're eating their babies. They're worshiping other gods. They're sacrificing children and other people through the fire. They're having temple prostitutes or what have you. So very violent. And then the Hebrews are going to come in, they're going to genocide all of them and like completely eradicate those people. That's going to be sort of like the end, I would assume, of the curse. Is that how curses always work? God never lifts a curse. The curses are always like full on, this definitely is going to happen. Then I'm very confused when it comes to the curse of the woman in Genesis 3, because half that curse is just not true anymore. I'm not that concerned with God's curses because like we fix them all the time. But anyway, let's get back into these curses because I think they're going to be pretty intense. Your basket and your kneading trough will be cursed. Now that's kind of vague. You know what I mean? I wish it was a little bit more specific. And I guess the blessings were kind of vague as well. So it's like, I'm going to curse that instead of, he should have just been like, all the things I said I was going to bless, now I'm cursing them if you don't do the thing, which is just like, okay, the opposite of that. But maybe he's going to be more creative. I'm worried that they are. The fruit of your body, the fruit of your ground, the increase of your livestock, and the young of your flock will be cursed. You will be cursed when you come in. You will be cursed when you go out. Yahweh will send on you cursing, confusion, and rebuke in all that you put your hand to until you are destroyed and until you perish quickly because of the evil of your doings by which you have forsaken me. I love that it's until you are destroyed, which, by the way, is going to be quick. Like, you're going to perish quickly. Don't worry about that because you're not doing what I told you. By the way, if you're going to like threaten someone or even like promise them something, them following your laws isn't like a good that they're doing. It stops being a good. They're just doing it out of coercion. This is no longer virtuous. This is the whole problem of Christianity and like these religions. You're not doing anything like for the good of anyone else or because you care about anyone else or the world or anything like that. You're not following the laws because it's like better for society or anything like that. Obviously, it's slavery. But you're doing it because you've been told, and if you don't, everything is going to be cursed. Having this and like believing this and leaning into this kills your virtue. You can no longer be a virtuous agent. That sucks. These cults, they're really like ruining humanity, even on that level, on every single level. Yahweh will send you confusion. Well, let's write this one down. Deuteronomy 28:20. God is the author of confusion. He's sending confusion again. Like, it never stops giving you contradictions. That's what's so fun about Bible. Yahweh will make the pestilence cling to you until he has consumed you from off the land where you go in to possess it. Oh, so you will go into the land and then he's like, nah, I'm going to put a pestilence on you till y'all die. So that's nice. Yahweh will strike you with consumption, with fever, with inflammation, with fiery heat, with the sword, with blight, and with mildew. They will pursue you until you perish. Your sky that is over your head will be bronze, and the earth that is under you will be iron. That verse is like literally in Leviticus 26, if I'm not mistaken. So that again is, of course, just like you won't get the sun that you need, and the earth will be too hard to do all the farming that you need to do. Yahweh will make the rain of your land powder and dust. It will come down on you from the sky until you are destroyed. That's interesting. I mean, that'd be interesting if that were like true or like actually happened. But I don't think it would really work when it comes to like the evaporation of water and then the way that the rain comes down. I don't know how powder and dust like evaporates and then comes down. I think maybe it's just a sandstorm. Maybe that's what it's describing. Also, this might just be like poetry, metaphor, hyperbole. It's probably well, none of it's real, but it probably wouldn't be literal by any stretch of the imagination. Yahweh will cause you to be struck before your enemies. You will go out one way against them and will flee 7 ways before them, which is something that I really like. I really liked when that was the nice way that they said it, but it's like fun either way that like you'll go out one way against them and then like flee 7 ways. It's going to be so bad for you. I really, really like that. You will be tossed back and forth among all the kingdoms of the earth. Your dead bodies will be food to all the birds of the sky and to the animals of the earth, and there will be no one to frighten them away. They're just eating people. It's like, will anyone please frighten these animals away? Can anyone frighten these birdies away? Is no one here to frighten them? Just wave your hand. Can you not frighten them away? Yahweh will strike you with the boils of Egypt, with tumors, with scurvy, and with the itch, of which you cannot be healed. It's a lot of itching. This is probably why, and we talked about this when we were doing like the cleanliness stuff. Why didn't Yahweh come up with like antibiotics, pharmaceuticals, right? Why wouldn't he like give them that heads up? And I think it's because this kind of thing, he doesn't want them to have too much power, right? We've beaten this. We've beaten Yahweh, being able to get us with itching. Like now we have stuff that we can take, and ointments. We have ointments with ways to not have to itch anymore. And Yahweh is just like, darn it, I had them where I could make them itch, and they would never be healed. And now they have found ways, topically or taking medicine, that will solve that problem. Yahweh will strike you with madness, with blindness, and with astonishment of heart. You will grope at noonday as the blind gropes in the darkness, and you shall not prosper in your ways. You will only be oppressed and robbed always, and there will be no one to save you. You will be only oppressed and robbed. It's like, I leave the house, I'm just robbed every time. I'm always just robbed. I can't even go out and hang out with someone. I'm just oppressed and robbed. Always. I'm only ever being robbed. This is just a funny way of saying it. You will betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. You will build a house, and you won't dwell in it. Always just like a little bit of misogyny, you know what I mean? You will have a piece of property in the form of a woman, and then another man will use your property. That's what that's basically saying there. And by the way, you will build a house and you won't dwell in it is kind of like just like a mirror of the other thing, right? Like this is the property, this is another thing of property. We're just like finding different properties that we can, mention to show that other people will use your property. And women are part of that. Always, God always hates women. You will plant a vineyard and not use its fruit. Your ox will be slain before your eyes, and you will not eat any of it. Your donkey will be violently taken away from before your face, and will not be restored to you. Your sheep will be given to your enemies, and you will have no one to save you. We know. You don't have to repeat that thing about the saving all the time. Now you're just doing more of the word count game. Your sons and your daughters will be given to another people. Your eyes will look and fail with longing for them all day long. There will be no power in your hand. Your sons and your daughters will be given to another people. Oh, man. Which is like, sucks, because usually you'll sell your daughter to your own people. But now you can't do that. It's such a bummer. A nation which you don't know will eat the fruit of your ground and all of your work. You will only be oppressed and crushed always, so that the sights that you see with your eyes will drive you mad. Yahweh will strike you in the knees and in the legs with a sore boil of which you cannot be healed, from the sole of your foot to the crown of your head. Yahweh will bring you and your king, whom you will set over yourselves, to a nation that you have not known, you nor your fathers. There you will serve other gods of wood and stone. You will become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the peoples, where Yahweh will lead you away. Yahweh, away. Yahweh, away. They're kind of probably excusing what has happened to them, right? Because this is put together, however you want to say it, during the or after the Babylonian exile. So they're probably like excusing what had happened. You guys, this is going to happen to you if you don't follow the laws. Right? And I wonder if, like, as we move forward in the books, we're going to see how they don't follow the laws. So that's all going to be sort of like, guys, we screwed up. We made some errors. And then we went into that. Let's not do that again. So like when people are like reading this stuff or being told these stories, they're like, don't do the bad thing again. Because it was because of not doing this that ended up. So now make sure you do it. So this is just like motivation in narrative form. What a great literary tool that these brilliant people employed to manipulate their people at the time. That's fantastic. But it's kind of cool. I like the wording of it. You will become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. People are going to be like, don't be like the Hebrews. Well, in Proverbs, we get stuff like, look to the ant, thou sluggard, consider its ways and be wise, So in the same way, they'll go, look to the Hebrew, don't do what they did, worship your God, and then you won't be put into exile. You will carry much seed out into the field and will gather little in, for the locust will consume it. You will plant vineyards and dress them, but you will neither drink of the wine nor harvest, because worms will eat them. What about the free will of the locust and the worms? Like, what if they don't want to do God's bidding and go and eat all the stuff? Right? Do we ever think about the free will of the insects? Like, why are we going like, do they want to go and do this? Right? Do they want to go and do this? No. They're being drawn, they're being sent by God to go and probably gorge themselves on all sorts of stuff. So God doesn't give a crap about free will. You will have olive trees throughout all your borders, but you won't anoint yourself with oil, for your olives will drop off. No olive oil. It's my favorite thing. But they dropped off. You will father sons and daughters, but they will not be yours, for they will go into captivity. Locusts will consume all of your trees and fruit of your ground. The foreigner who is among you will mount up above you higher and higher, and you will come down lower and lower. He will lend to you, and you won't lend to him. He will be the head, and you will be the tail. What's interesting here is there's a subtext that you'll notice with the astute eagle eye of a skeptic. The foreigner who you're supposed to love like yourself, like one of your own, they're never one of your own. Really, are they? Right? Because you're allowed to charge them interest. You're allowed to sell them tainted meat. And there's a competition. There's this unspoken, well, now spoken, competition going on between you and the foreigner. You got to keep them low. You've got your people that are the high ones. They're the good ones. They're the ones we like. The foreigners must be lower. Now, if I'm going to curse you, it's going to be the opposite, right? Is there an implication here that the foreigner is lower? We think of the foreigner as lower. I think there is. And I don't much care for it. God, Yahweh, if that's even your real name, I don't much care for it. But it's always about the lending. You know you're doing well if you're the one doing the lending. So we've read up to verse 44. We've got a lot more. Is that the end of the curses? Maybe this is the end of the cursing. Maybe this is going to be the turning point of the chapter. Or there might be some more curses. Let's see what happens. All these curses will come on you and will pursue you and overtake you until you are destroyed, because you didn't listen to Yahweh, your God's voice, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded you. They will be for a sign and for a wonder to you and to your offspring forever, because you didn't serve Yahweh, your God, with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, by reason of the abundance of all things. Therefore, you will serve your enemies, whom Yahweh sends against you in hunger, in thirst, in nakedness, and in lack of all things. He will put an iron yoke on your neck until he has destroyed you. God is love. God is love. It's still going on with the curses. This is just kind of, reframing it again. This is why we're torturing you, because you didn't follow all the statutes and stuff like that. So make sure you do that. So this is just, again, a reiteration to like really drive home the point that if you're in a bad state, it's because the people before you didn't follow the laws. So make sure you follow the laws, and then Yahweh will be good to you. But right now, if you are in a tough spot, right, which they would be, that's probably the reason. But you can now fix that problem by being good boys and girls. Yahweh will bring a nation against you from far away, from the end of the earth as the eagle flies, a nation whose language you will not understand, a nation of fierce facial expressions that doesn't respect the elderly nor show favor to the young. Remember when the Babylonians came here? They had such scary faces. No, they were scowling all the time. I didn't like it. They were scary. Their facial expressions were scary. They were like this. And I did not like that. They are scary. They're a nation of fierce facial expressions. That one that freaked me out. I like this one. Why can't everyone do that? Why can't everyone do that one? These people were like that, and I did not like that. I didn't like it. They will eat the fruit of your livestock and the fruit of your ground until you are destroyed. They also won't leave you grain, new wine, oil, the increase of your livestock, or the young of your flock until they have caused you to perish. They will besiege you in all your gates until your high and fortified walls in which you trusted come down throughout all your land. They will besiege you in all your gates throughout all your land, which Yahweh your God has given you. So yeah, this is continuing, right? Now we've got the enemy that's just like bearing down and doing horrible things and taking their nations and killing them and ending everything about them. Again, it's probably, describing what they had gone through, and this is kind of all culminating in that. If you don't follow these laws, this is what happens. This is what happened. So it's because they didn't follow the laws. And I wonder if we're going to see that in the future stories. I know I already mentioned that, but I'm actually really curious to see if they continue the narrative of this tall tale and these myths and whatnot. You will eat the fruit of your own body, cannibalism, the flesh of your sons and of your daughters, whom Yahweh your God has given you, in the siege and in the distress with which your enemies will distress you. Now, this worries me because we know that the other part is these people with fierce facial expressions. That might be the Babylonians, right? And they will displace you, and then, they will take your land, and they'll blah, blah. All of that seems to maybe have happened. Did they actually eat their kids? Did the ancient Hebrews actually eat their kids? I'm not going to say that, but it seems like they're we were desperate. We ate our kids, I think that this is hyperbole. That didn't happen. They wouldn't have done that. I don't think that is real. I think that they're just being very dramatic. That's what I'm going to believe. But it is worrisome because some of the other stuff seems like that did happen. So the man who is tender among you and very delicate, his eye will be evil toward his brother, toward the wife whom he loves, and toward the remnant of his children whom he has remaining, so that he will not give to any of them the flesh of his children, whom he will eat, because he has nothing left to him in the siege and in the distress in which your enemy will distress you in all your gates. I love this idea that there's this tender man, because I relate to that, a tender man, just a softer, not as traditionally masculine as the next man, and his eye will be evil toward his brother, and now he's going to actually go from being a really lovely guy to like, and I'm going to eat my kids. I have nothing else. He becomes a toxic masculinity. The tender and delicate woman among you who would not venture to set the sole of her foot on the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye will be evil toward her husband that she loves, towards her son, toward her daughter, toward her young one who comes out from between her feet, and toward her children whom she bears, for she will eat them secretly for lack of all things in the siege and in the distress with which your enemy will distress you in your gates. Just a sweet lady, just a beautiful, kind, sweet, tender woman. And she's eating her babies. She's eating her children, the ones that came out between her feet. Between her feet, guys. God, do you think that babies come out between people's feet? I think they're just being, they're like, we're not going to say, get into the details of it. Because we're decent. We're decent people. If you will not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that you may fear this glorious and fearful name, Yahweh, your God, then Yahweh will make your plagues and the plagues of your offspring fearful, even great plagues, and of long duration and severe sickness and of long duration. So I think this is just weird wording, but just long plagues, long sicknesses. All right. He will bring on you again all the diseases of Egypt which you were afraid of, and they will cling to you. All the frogs are just going to cling to you. The darkness will cling to you. The bloody water will cling to you. Locusts, gnats, all the dead cattle will cling to you. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, Yahweh will bring them on you until you are destroyed. Everyone, I can't even think of them. I couldn't even list them to save my life, says Yahweh. So I'm just going to say anything bad that happens to you is because you did something wrong. That's what I'm going to say. To say that, it's not just going to be these specific things, because then, you'd have to hold me to that, and you'd say, well, why is there cancer? This is a catch-all. This is what we call a catch-all, because you're doing something wrong. But I didn't do anything wrong. When the Christian comes up with, well, then the devil's testing you. Yeah, if you're living correctly for God, and then still the bad things happening, devil. That would definitely be devil. So there's always going to be an answer. It's never that this isn't true. It's never that this isn't true and doesn't make sense. That's never what it is. There are catch-alls for all of this stuff, and we can change the story anytime we want in order to make it make sense with reality, but it never does, and then we just say his ways are higher. Don't ask too many questions. Do not lean on your own understanding. This is all definitely true. You will be left few in number, even though you were as the stars of the sky for multitude, because you didn't listen to Yahweh your God's voice. It will happen that as Yahweh rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh will rejoice over you to cause you to perish and to destroy you. You will be plucked from the land that you are going in to possess. But this is a very interesting choice of words, rejoice. So it's like God rejoices in the good. He rejoices over you to do good. It's kind of like he's so happy to do good to you, to make you increase and to do all these good things in your life. But he's also happy if you don't follow the law, to punish you and to make you perish and to destroy you. So God takes joy in doing harm to you. But I know that there is a notion in Christianity where God doesn't take joy in the downfall of his people, right? He loves them. He doesn't want to see them perishing. He wills that no man should perish. That's a verse, right? But here it's like he's happy to help you. He's happy to do good if you follow him. He's happy to increase your number. But if you don't, he's happy to destroy you. He's happy to tear you down. He's happy to do the violence towards you. Depends on you how God is feeling, like what he's going to get off on. It could be messing you up. It could be the very negative, violent thing. Either way, he's gonna take some real pleasure in it. That makes him, by the way, a moral monster. It does. I think in some way, I don't have a syllogism for it yet, but it makes him a moral monster. Yahweh will scatter you among all peoples from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. You will serve other gods, which you have not known, you nor your fathers, even wood and stone. Among these nations you will find no ease, and there will be no rest for the sole of your foot. But Yahweh will give you there a trembling heart, failing eyes, and pining of soul. Your life will hang in doubt before you. You will be afraid night and day, and will have no assurance of your life. In the morning you will say, I wish it were evening. And in the evening you will say, I wish it were morning. For the fear of your heart, which you will fear, and for the sights of your eyes you will see. He's saying, like, you're going to go into other nations and you will serve other gods. It's like you will have a new boyfriend or new girlfriend, right? You'll have a new, some new thing that you're having a relationship with. And it's going to be bad. Oh my goodness, it's going to be awful. What this is sounding like to me from an abusive boyfriend or abusive partner, let's say, no one will love you the way I love you. No one will ever no one will ever love you the way I love you. That's what this is reading like. If you reject me, if you don't do what I say in this relationship that we have, in this covenant, let's call it a covenant so we don't just like see it as an abusive relationship. In this abusive covenant that we have, you don't follow these rules and do what I tell you, no one will love you the way I love you. You'll go worship like wood and stone. Like they're like barely even real gods, and everything's going to be horrible. No one could love you. No one could love you and put up with you and treat you the way that I treat you. Which, by the way, abusive, horrific. He killed people with quail, remember? He's only done bad things. He's killed 2 million of the Hebrews, right? Because they were afraid of cannibals. And they questioned something or didn't trust that he would protect them from giants, something like that. And he says, oh, I'm going to have to kill this whole generation. Abusive. No one else will ever love you. Yeah, go worship other gods. You won't even want to be awake. Like you'll just want the day to end because everything you see will be horrible. Yeah, no one will love you the way I love you. This is Abuse 101. Welcome to the cult. Welcome to the foundation of the cult. It's scary. It's really disgusting. But hey, if you haven't read this and you're just believing in Jesus superficially, you're just not going to. You're not going to really get it, right? But I think it'll still be there in the subtle ways. Yahweh will bring you into Egypt again with ships, by the way of which I told you that you would never see it again. There you will offer yourselves to your enemies for male and female slaves, and nobody will buy you. Please buy us. Please bring us back to Egypt. And no thanks. What I kind of like about this is that they've always wanted to go back to Egypt because it was better. There was just like they fed us there. They treated us really well. Yeah, we had to work, but we had fish and meat every week. Like it was actually pretty good. And Yahweh's like, you know what? You're leaving. And I'm going to torture the Egyptians until they let you go, making it nice and slow so I can kill all their firstborns. And once you're out in the desert, you're going to worship me. That all of this is so that you worship me. Then I'm going to foist these laws on you. I'm going to force these horrific laws. You're going to enslave each other. You're going to enslave other people. You're going to be incredibly misogynistic to the women. None of these laws are going to be good or like useful in any meaningful way. Maybe a few of them, but a lot of them are just going to be really stupid. One of them is going to feature burning a woman alive. The other one's stoning women for nothing. I'm going to do all of this, and once you don't follow the laws and you return to go back to the life that I stole from you, I ripped you from because it was slavery, you won't even be able to go back there. They won't want you anymore. I've ruined your life. I've totally destroyed everything. I've ruined your complete life if you don't do the laws. If you do the laws, everything's going to be hunky-dory. If and only if you follow all my laws, everything's going to be great. I've got you handcuffed to the radiator here. Like, you have to do what I tell you. You don't have very many options. And I just want to remind everyone, from verse 16 down to verse 68 were just threats. The bulk of this chapter is threats. And then we had a little bit on the top of like the nice things. So this mirrors very directly the like smaller or shorter version of this in Leviticus 26. They're basically the same chapter. The purpose of this is to say, if you don't follow my laws, let's look at the laws. The laws are slavery. The laws are stoning people who pull you away to worship other gods. The laws are killing witches and warlocks, right? The laws are killing children who curse their parents. The laws are stoning women who don't bleed on their wedding night. The laws are forcing women to drink bitter water to make them miscarry or become barren if you think they've been cheating. There are so many horrific laws which now nobody in their right mind would follow. Following these laws are important enough. The things that like nobody does, right? The things that apparently Jesus said we don't do anymore, which he didn't, but you know, the Christian church wanted to say that these laws are the reason why all of these curses are going to happen. All of these horrific things. You're going to eat your children if you don't chop off a woman's hand if she protects her husband by grabbing someone's genitals. If you don't follow these laws, if you don't stone someone who works on the Sabbath, you will eat your children. But then in like a few hundred years, Jesus is going to be like, don't worry about it. Pardon? What? You take this seriously? Excuse me? Are you out of your mind? To think that this is like good or God or something reasonable? No, he allowed divorce. Yes, the divorce laws are there, but he allowed it because of the hardness of he's allowing things. He's leniently going like, that's them. They're going to do the slavery. So I'm just going to allow the slavery. By the way, if they don't follow my exact slavery laws, I will be making them eat their children and sending people to, send them out into the world or to worship other gods and to hate their lives entirely. I will ultimately be killing all of them. I do have to let them do slavery. I'm just going to be a little lenient there just for now because they're doing it anyway. But if they don't punish someone that beats their slave to an inch of their life, or if they buy a woman and they don't let her go free if they're not pleased with her, then I will make them eat their children. Like, how stupid must you be to buy this garbage? To think that like this that apologetic for slavery and for the horrible laws in the Bible works. You got to be out of your mind. Apologists are so dishonest because they probably have read this. They just hope you don't and put two and two together. What did I love about this chapter? What's not to love? I did really love some of these blessings. Like, I like that, like, you will be blessed when you go in and you will be blessed when you go out. I like some of the wording that we get in this chapter. I do like the word picture of they will come out against you one way and will flee before you 7 ways. Like, you know, they won't have anything to come at you with, and then you will like completely freak them out because you're going to be so much more powerful. What did I hate about it? Everything else, like all the rest of it. I know, you know, pick one. I really genuinely hated the amount. You know, in the early part of the thing, which I again did like, is that all the blessings will overtake you, and it feels like, as I said, like just be heaped upon you. So many blessings. I took it as overwhelm for some reason. I know it says overtake, but even if it's like I will chase you with blessings and just like attack you with blessings. Like you won't be able to get away from these blessings. There's so many blessings, right? I kind of like that idea, but it's really the curses that really seem more like that. There's just so much more to the curses. They're always so much more creative and violent and devastating with the curses. This is just the people like, you better follow these laws. You better do it, right? In the government that they're creating, this theocracy, as I say every time. But if it were God, holy crap, what a monster, right? If it's a God, like, run for the hills. Am I right, guys? Anyway, what a chapter. Thanks for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, really? You're here at this part of the video and you haven't subscribed yet? What's wrong with you? Also, like this video, leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.